This week's video is all about baskets. I have a whole closet full that I need to work on. We're not going to be able to get to all of them today, but we'll give it a good try. Hey everyone, I'm Elaine and this is a Handful of Daisies DIY. Thanks so much for stopping by today. So let's get started on basket number 1. I really love this basket. It didn't really need anything, so I'm just going to put some embellishment on it. I picked up this flower at, I believe, Dollar General. So I'm just going to paint it with the agave paint. It is a really pretty blue. And then I'm going to add some white and then clear wax to mute down the white. So I'm just going to paint the whole thing. I did bring the top part of the flower up. I bent it up a little bit. You have to be careful with this just to make sure it doesn't snap because they are really thin. But to get up underneath so you don't see any of the yellow and the orange, you do have to bend it up a little bit. So I'm just painting it all over, and then I'm going to use my hairdryer to dry it before I put the next coat on it. Now I didn't shake up my paint bottle, so the paint wasn't mixed very well inside, so you can see the dark that I'm painting on the top. That is just because I didn't shake my paint up, but I liked that dark color on it, so I decided to go with it. It does give it a little more dimension, and I'm going to dry that with my hairdryer again. I am impatient, so I do use my hairdryer a lot. Then I'm going to add some white on it as well, just to brighten it up a little bit. Just on the top petals and in the middle. I am using Waverly paint, chalk paint for this that I picked up at Walmart. My Walmart does still carry the Waverly, and I like the Waverly paint for these small projects. The next thing I'm going to do is use the clear wax from Waverly, and that's just to, of course, cover the chalk paint and to mute down the white a little bit because I didn't want the white to really stand out. I love this blue and the brown of the basket together. And I just have this wire that I used when I used to make jewelry. I'm going to use that on this basket. This basket does have a liner in it. So I have to be a little careful in how I'm using the wire, and I'm having to bend it up underneath the flower instead of taking it all the way through the basket. So let's move to basket number 2. Now I picked up all these baskets at the thrift store. I really like this little basket, except it does have gold on it. I'm not a fan of gold. I know it's in right now, but I'm going to change it using this moss color in Waverly. It's a really pretty green. So I'm going to paint the whole basket in this moss. And it does take a little while when you're using a paintbrush on these baskets just to get down into all the little nooks and crannies. It's much easier if you spray paint it. But I didn't have a lot of different colors in the spray paint, so I decided just to go ahead and use my brush. And this Waverly is pretty thick, so it coats really well. It only needed one coat. And I did go back and touch up a little bit in the little nooks and crannies as well. I am doing the inside as well because it did have some of that gold on the inside. Then I'm going to use white wax on this basket to give it a little bit of color and to seal in that chalk paint. It is spring and I did want these to look more like Easter baskets, so I didn't want to keep just the dark green color on it. I thought the white would brighten it up a little bit. Here's how it turned out. We're going to go ahead and move to basket number 3 before I put the embellishments on this one. And that's just another little Easter basket. I did like the dark brown on it, but we're going to paint this one dusty blue in Dixie Belle paint. It is good and thick as well. And like I said, I like the dark of the basket, so I wasn't really concerned with some of that showing through under the blue. I'm trying to get a little bit better about using color. I typically like black and white on everything, but I'm opening myself to more colors, especially for the spring. I'm going to go ahead and dry that up with my hair dryer, and then I'm going to add white wax on this one as well. And that is to seal in that paint and to brighten it up a little bit. Here's a look at that one. Let me know what you think of that basket. Now, I picked up these embellishments at Dollar General. For this butterfly, it matched really well. So I decided to just hot glue it to the side of the basket. Now, of course, with hot glue, it doesn't always stick to metal very well. So I did end up coming back and adding wire around this butterfly as well. I thought the colors matched really well, and I just love butterflies. Let me know what you think. Now for the green basket, I had these flowers. They didn't match the basket, so I decided to paint those. I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in white to paint those. I'll give them a good first coat and then dry them. And then I'm going to come back with the moss green again. And again, I'm not shaking up this bottle, so I'm going to get some variations in color. I am going to leave a little bit of the white paint showing, again, just to give it a little dimension. I don't want it to be the same color as the basket, so you can see it is a little bit darker since I didn't shake up the paint. Now I'm going to put one of these on each side of the basket, and I'm going to use that same wire to wire it into the basket. And this basket doesn't have a liner in it, so I'm able to go straight through the basket and twist it in on the other side. Let me know what you think of the colors of the flowers. Is it too close to the basket color? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments below. So now on to basket number 4. I'm going to use Aged Gray by Rust-Oleum on this basket. It is more like a little tray, so I picked up this placemat from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside of the basket, but I'm not going to paint the bottom since I'm going to put the placemat in the bottom. I'm just going to give it a really good coat, trying to get in all the little nooks and crannies. And then I'm going to use this blue, the navy blue, just to go around the top. You can see I didn't paint the top around the rim. So I wanted to give it another dimension of color. You can see on the placemat, it has that blue around the edge. I'm going to end up cutting that off of the placemat, so I wanted to still show that blue in there somewhere. And this blue paint is an acrylic paint by Apple Barrel. I did pick that up at Walmart as well. And once I finished up the rim, I pulled the placemat over underneath the basket, and I'm just going to use a pencil to go around it so I can cut it a little bit closer, and it'll be easier to work with on the inside to get it to the right fit. It's still going to be a little bit big, but it will be much easier than to mark it again and cut it closer. Then I'm just going to use my pencil and mark that one edge so I can make it fit perfectly. And then I'm going to use my hot glue gun just to glue that in so it won't come out. Just start on one side and bend it back, and then hold it down until the glue sets, and then I'll move to the next side. Now you can use this basket to put flowers in or use it as a tray. It is oblong, so it would make a good tray as well. Let me know what you think of this basket. The next basket I'm going to do the same thing with. I'm going to use a placemat from Dollar Tree, and I was going to use this Waverly ink, but I decided I had black spray paint, so I took it outside and sprayed it with the black spray paint, let it dry, then I brought it back inside, and we're going to fit this placemat in the bottom. So much easier to use spray paint. I am going to use this gray, almost silver paint on the bottom rim this time. I'm just using my little artist brush to get around the edges, and it had a pretty good stopping point for me to use on the bottom, so it was a little bit easier to paint this one. Again, with my hair dryer, impatient, so I'm going to dry it up. This time I'm just going to put the placemat on the inside. Since it's longer and it's not oval, it was a little bit easier for me to cut this one. And with the pattern on it, it made it easier to cut in a straight line. I don't know about you, but I'm not very good about cutting straight lines. And I am rounding the edges so it fits down in the bottom really well. Now this basket you can use as a tray as well. I see it as a flower basket, just laying flowers across it, but you could use it anyway. And when I first purchased this basket, I do have a glass dish that fits in this basket perfectly that I was going to use this for, but then I ended up changing my mind. Let me know what you think about this basket. Now here's our last two baskets. I'm going to use a stamp and some drop cloth. I love these baskets. I didn't want to paint them. They're both great colors. Sorry, my stamp is a little off screen there. I'll fix that in just a minute. There we go. I'm using the Stays On ink so it won't smear. My ink is a little dry. I need to order some refills, but I think it'll work out just fine. I love the hummingbird on this stamp. I'm just going to press it on so I can get it on there as dark as possible. And then I realized that what I cut was a little big for the basket, so I'm just going to trim that down a little bit, and then I'm going to refray the edges. I'm using the end of my scissors. It makes it a little bit easier to fray the edges. And then I'm going to use my hot glue gun to glue it on the basket. Now, if someone purchases this basket and they don't like what's on the front of it with the glue, they'll be easy to pull this off if they want to. But I love the drop cloth on baskets. Let me know what you think below. Would you have just left it plain, or do you like the drop cloth as well? Here's a look at how that one turned out. Now we're going to move on to the next one. This one's just a sunflower, and I use this stamp a lot in my projects. I was gifted a whole tote full of stamps, and there's no way I'll ever use all of them, but I really appreciated the gift of the stamps because I have used quite a few. going to ink up my stamp really well. I think this might be the last time I'm able to use the stamp until I get some refill. I'm just going to fray the edges of this one a little bit more. And then I'm going to put that one on with a hot glue gun as well. I just love these sunflowers. Now I did put this one on a little bit crooked, so you can see I'm going to straighten that up a little bit. The glue was still pliable enough to move. And here's a look at how that one turned out. Here's a look at the pile of baskets I had. Of course, there's no way we could have gotten to all of them today, but we'll do them in the next project. And here's a look at how all the baskets turned out. Let me know what your favorite basket was in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed our basket projects today. Let me know in the comments below which basket was your favorite. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. That does help my channel grow. Again, thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time for another DIY.